Hey everyone, and welcome to Out of Here Baseball. In this video, we're going to look at the players who have won the most Gold Glove awards at each position. The Rawlings Gold Glove Award has been given out every year since 1957 to the player voted by managers and coaches to be the best at their position. One award is given out for each position in both the National and American League, meaning 18 Gold Gloves are given out each year. However, ties are possible, such as in 2018 when Freddie Freeman and Anthony Rizzo both took home the honor for NL first baseman. For the first 4 years Gold Gloves were given out, awards were given to each of the 3 outfield spots, left, center, and right, only for this to change to recognize 3 outfielders irrespective of their specific position. While this was changed back in 2011 in order to recognize the different responsibilities of the outfield spots, our lineup for this video will just choose 3 outfielders regardless of specific position. So without further ado, let's start filling out our lineup card for the all-time Gold Glove team. At catcher is Pudge Rodriguez. Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez won 13 Gold Gloves in his career, putting him 3 ahead of the next closest player at his position, Johnny Bench. He finished his career with the most games played at catcher with 2,427 and is also the career leader in putouts by a catcher. His 29.6 defensive wins above replacement is also tops among catchers and ranks 8th all time behind a slew of shortstops and Brooks Robinson, who we'll get to later. Leading the league in caught stealing percentage 9 times, Pudge threw out 45.6% of all would-be base stealers over the course of his 21-year career. And let's not forget that play at the plate he made in the 2003 NLDS to close out the series. Next up, we have our first baseman, Keith Hernandez. First base is the only position in this lineup not occupied by a Hall of Famer, but by no means is that a slight on Keith Hernandez, who is a terrific player in his own right. Other first basemen to win a significant number of Gold Gloves, such as Don Mattingly and Steve Garvey, are also on the outside looking in at the Hall of Fame, which may say something about how defense at first base went underappreciated for decades. Nevertheless, Hernandez won 11 straight Gold Gloves from 1978 to 1988 with the Cardinals and Mets. He logged over 17,000 innings at first base and is far and away considered the best fielding first baseman ever due to his range and longevity at the position. Our second baseman is Roberto Alomar. Alomar developed a reputation for being a fast and strong second baseman, capable of making the highlight reel play from the moment he broke into the majors with the San Diego Padres. That reputation would hold up over the next decade as he took home 10 Gold Gloves, edging out players such as Bill Mazeroski and Ryne Sandberg for the most at the position. Alomar would make over 2,000 appearances at second base over his career, but is probably the only player in this lineup who does not fare well with modern defensive metrics. His defensive WAR sits at just 3.3, while his total zone runs is at -30, suggesting he was actually below average in the field. At third base is Brooks Robinson. A lifelong Oriole, there are few players in MLB history more associated with defensive excellence than Robinson. Nicknamed the Human Vacuum Cleaner, he won 16 consecutive Gold Gloves from 1960 to 1975, the last of which coming in a season in which he batted .201 with 6 home runs, albeit at age 38. With over 25,000 innings at third base, Brooks Robinson was a model of efficiency and durability over the course of his 23-year career, playing in at least 150 games in 14 different seasons. His 293 total zone runs is the highest all time, and his defensive WAR ranks 3rd behind teammate Mark Belanger and the next man in our lineup. Shortstop, Ozzie Smith. I said earlier that few players were more associated with defensive excellence than Brooks Robinson, and one of those few would be Ozzie Smith, who many would argue is the best defender in MLB history. The Wizard of Oz won 13 straight Gold Gloves from 1980 to 1992, and never once appeared at a position other than shortstop across 19 big league seasons. Aside from his trademark backflip, Smith is famous for running down balls in the hole, making a jump throw, and having the ball reach first base on one bounce. Statistically, he is the all-time leader in defensive WAR with 44.2 and 4th in total zone runs. For comparison's sake, Omar Vizquel, second among shortstops with 11 Gold Gloves, finished his career with 29.5 defensive wins above replacement, 15 behind Smith, which is a testament to just how elite Smith was at short. Our first outfielder is Willie Mays. Like I said earlier, our 3 outfielders for this lineup were not selected based on whether they played left, center, or right field, but rather just the 3 outfielders with the most Gold Gloves. With that said, Willie Mays would likely be our center fielder, who won 12 Gold Gloves, joint most among outfielders. One of the greatest players of all time, and arguably the best all-around player, the Say Hey Kid played over 24,000 career innings in center field, garnering a reputation for having elite range and a cannon of a throwing arm. Early on in his career, Mays would consistently finish in the top 10 for outfield assists, even topping the leaderboard in 1955 with 23. But the thing most people remember about Mays' defense is his over-the-shoulder catch in the 1954 World Series at the Polo Grounds, known simply as the catch. Our next outfielder is Roberto Clemente. Sharing the record for most Gold Gloves by an outfielder with Mays is Pirates legend Roberto Clemente, who will slot in at right field for our lineup. Clemente was the first Latin American and Caribbean player inducted into the Hall of Fame and ranks among the all-time greatest outfielders. He led the NL in outfield assists 5 times and finished with 266 for his career. His 27 assists in 1961 remains the most for an outfielder since World War II. Arm strength aside, Clemente has the 5th most total zone runs ever, and 2nd among outfielders behind Andrew Jones, who we will touch on in a bit. Off the field, Clemente is remembered for his charity work and aid efforts in Caribbean countries until his untimely death in 1972 while delivering supplies to victims of an earthquake in Nicaragua. He later became the namesake for the MLB award recognizing the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, community involvement, and the individual's contribution to his team. Our final outfielder is Al Kaline. It was a tough call for the last outfield spot, as there is a 4-way tie for outfielders with 10 Gold Gloves: Kaline, Ken Griffey Jr., Ichiro, and Andrew Jones. The thought process for choosing Kaline over the others is that he began his career before the Gold Glove Award was first given out. It is reasonable to assume he would have won at least 2 more had the award been given out during his first few years in the league. As for the other players, Griffey had one of the greatest peaks in MLB history, but his poor defense in Cincinnati in the latter stages of his career hurt his career value. Ichiro got a late start to his MLB career due to playing in Japan until he was 26, and his career defensive value is not as high as a result. And Andrew Jones may very well be the greatest defensive outfielder ever, but since this lineup is based off of Gold Gloves, Kaline is the pick and will play left field. With all that out of the way, a few things about Mr. Tiger. 22 years in the big leagues, 9 top 10 MVP finishes without actually winning the award, and 170 outfield assists are just a few of the notable numbers from Al Kaline's career. He spent most of it playing right field, though did have a few seasons with significant time at center and log time at first base at the end of his career. The pitcher for our team is Greg Maddux. The most Gold Gloves all time belongs to the Professor, with 18 wins in a 19-year span, only being broken up by Braves teammate Mike Hampton, winning in 2003. Maddux was known for having great range as a pitcher and having longevity that may never be seen again in the league. He retired in 2008, winning his final Gold Glove award at the age of 42. Fielding statistics are not the most reliable for pitchers given the small number of chances, but Maddux was an above-average fielder in all years that data was collected for pitchers defensively. Also of note is Jim Cott, who won 16 Gold Gloves in his career. So that wraps up our lineup for the all-time Gold Glove team. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Outta Here Baseball for more content. Thanks for watching.